Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thanks to everyone watching. We've been busy since the last video. Cafe hunting, exploring local restaurants, cycling, street photography and more. Here's another look at life in Seoul. Hope you enjoy. Today we have many things on the menu, starting with a sports day at Mina's kindergarten. We decided to ride there by bike, a quick trip through the tiny streets of Namchon. The sports day brings together kids and parents from the kindergarten for a fun competition. A great way to connect teachers, parents and children all in one place. I'm not sure if this is a common thing in Korea, but it was a lot of fun. It took up half our day and we felt pretty exhausted after this intense morning. But I had bigger plans for the afternoon, a bike ride out to Seongsu to pick up a gift my friend had left for me. Since it was super hot, I decided to park along the river and ride closer to the Seoul forest area. A quick 30-minute ride, passing by the legendary Hanam Tunnel. Public parking lots are usually packed, so I went for one that's a bit harder to reach, just to make sure I'd actually get a spot. A decision that paid off. The parking lot had plenty of open spots, with incredibly low rates, less than 1,000 won per hour. While Mina finished her well-deserved nap, I got the bike ready and headed out to explore Seongsu. I still regret going with this roof-mounted bike rack. Getting the bike on and off is such a hassle. Probably something I'll want to upgrade in the future. But here we are, back on the Han River bike path, starting with quite a rough little bridge to cross over to the Seongsu side, followed by a steep climb. It always feels so much harder with a kid on the back, but still manageable. I recently installed a massive 51-tooth cog on the rear, so I can tackle just about anything now. Seongsu used to be a pretty gritty industrial area. Leather workshops, small factories, car repairs. But over the last few years, it's completely transformed into one of Seoul's coolest neighborhoods. All the major brands, Chanel, Burberry, even Jacquemus, have been doing pop-ups here. I guess it's the new hot place to be. Turning down a side street, I spotted Seoul's mascot. Couldn't resist stopping for a quick photo with Mina on the bike. I guess she was still a bit sleepy at this moment. We've now reached the heart of the busy area. I'm always amazed at how packed it gets. Unfortunately, Brewing Ceremony is right in the middle of all that chaos, so I have to brave it. Brewing Ceremony, small space, brutalist vibe, light roasts. They carry a solid selection of beans, around 7, including the decaf. I went for an iced Ethiopian filter. The staff was super friendly and even brought some milk for Mina while I ordered. While Mina was enjoying her milk, I got chatting with the baristas, told them about running a cafe in Huam. They're wishing to come by soon. The coffee was excellent. And if you're in the area, well worth a stop. But honestly, the reason I came to Seongsu that day was to pick up a gift from a fellow barista from Russia. He had a friend visiting Seoul from Russia drop it off in HBC. Really thoughtful. I checked the map, 5 minutes by bike. Seongsu might honestly be one of the most bike-friendly neighborhoods in Seoul. HBC Coffee, which stands for Hitch Bicycle Club, not Haebangchon, is pretty well known in Seoul's cycling community. I believe they started the Hitch brand before opening the cafe, with a focus on bikes and outdoor activities. Some of the friendliest people I've met in Korea have been through this community. They're always organizing events around the bike world. And now a lot of foreigners come too, almost like a pilgrimage spot for any cyclist visiting South Korea. Every time I stop by, there are nice bikes out front and people happy to talk. I wish I could come more often, but living on the other side of the city has its downsides. You can also find a small selection of the Hitch collection inside the cafe. Great quality as always. And I finally picked up what I came for, a bag of Indonesian beans, roasted in Russia.
Thank you.
Kirill is a senior trainer at Surf Coffee, a major specialty coffee chain in Russia. Truly passionate about coffee, bikes, everything in between. We have a lot in common. He was kind enough to include a handwritten letter and a barista badge from the company. Can't wait to try this Indonesian lot and see what the process brings out. But for now, HBC's green juice. I'd already had way too many coffees and wanted to try something different. Apple, banana and green cabbage. It was so delicious that it made me want to buy a Vitamix. Sounds like Mina was a fan too. On my way to the next spot, I came across some seriously sexy fixie bikes. You've probably heard of Gentlemonster, the Korean eyewear brand known for turning their stores into full-on art installations. Each location feels more like a gallery than a shop. They recently opened a massive headquarters building, and with their veggie collection on display, I figured Mina would enjoy to see it. After a quick 5-minute ride, we reached the building. Quite a contrast, this giant structure standing right next to the old villas. We were genuinely impressed by the whole installation. Crazy how far this brand has come in just a few years. So futuristic, worth a stop if you're passing through. The building runs 5 floors with the new collection in the basement. We only saw a small part of it. Not sure I'd wear the glasses myself, but I like what they're doing. Original designs at a pretty reasonable price. After a quick look at the second floor and those creepy statues, we headed back to the car. The ride back was around 30 minutes, so I figured a water stop was in order for both of us. I got a little lost in the convenience store, the kind of place packed with so many random things you end up browsing way longer than planned. The return path took us along the Han River. Weather was perfect, a great way to wrap up the ride. Surprised by how empty the cycling path was, probably the heat keeping people away, didn't stop us from overtaking a few cyclists along the way. A really fun afternoon. Good rides, nice drinks, new people. We rushed back home just in time for dinner at a restaurant in Huam. After a brutal commute home, we headed out for a walk to Huam Market. 4 years living here and I'm still finding new spots every week. We went back and forth on where to eat. I was leaning toward grilled meat. Yunmi wanted something lighter. We ended up going for something I hadn't tried yet in Korea. Chicken BBQ right in the heart of Huam. The menu was pretty straightforward. Charcoal grilled chicken ribs, 3 marinades, herb, soy sauce and the house spicy seasoning, which was apparently the crowd favorite. They also had grilled chicken neck and boneless chicken feet, all around 16,000 won. The place itself was packed, a big renovated warehouse kind of space, the sort that fills up fast on a weeknight. Like most Korean BBQ spots, you're in charge of the grill yourself. We had a bit of a miscommunication with the staff, and I ended up burning the first batch. Still delicious though. We went for 1 spicy and 1 soy sauce, both really good. Bellies full, we headed out for a walk. We talked about checking out the live jazz bar in the market, but it was getting a bit late for Mina to really enjoy a concert. So we settled on Carpet and Sky for an ice cream instead. My wife recently got an ice cream machine and nailed it pretty much straight away. Mina was obviously the first customer. It was nice to have the space to ourselves, threw on some Ethiopian jazz. I went up to the rooftop to soak in the Hwamdong night vibes, something I rarely get to do, living up on the hill. Next day, I had to get my phone battery replaced at the Apple store. Good excuse for a solo lunch and some street photography. I decided to walk there through Namsan Park all the way down to Myeongdong. This whole area below Namsan is my favorite in Seoul. Lucky enough to reach it in just a few minutes by foot. I spent countless hours walking here with Mina when she was a newborn. A real escape from the city. Maybe one day I'll find a place to buy here. A dream spot for runners, hikers, and dog owners too. Busy during the day with the path going all the way up to Namsan Tower, but completely quiet in the morning. Namsan Park has a great view over the city, with a road that takes you all the way down to Namdaemun. Hard to believe the Hilton Hotel used to stand right here. It basically disappeared within a week. The Apple Store is right in the heart of Myeongdong, one of Seoul's busiest shopping districts. Street food stalls, skincare shops, tourist crowds. Not bad for street photography either. Whenever I'm in this area, I always end up digging through vinyl in the underground shopping center. You can find a bit of everything down there. Korean antiques, glasses, ginseng, you name it. Always wonder how some of these small hidden shops stay afloat. A few of them feel completely frozen in time. Back on the surface, the city still felt half asleep. The main street completely bare without the food stalls. Hard to imagine how packed it gets later in the day. I'd booked the appointment early to keep the rest of the day free. Good solo time, just me, the streets, and the camera. After checking the restaurant I had in mind, I took my time walking over, shooting along the way. Filming yourself doing street photography is harder than it sounds. I gave up pretty quickly. I'm a viewfinder kind of photographer, so having an action camera was pretty annoying. Got a couple of shots on video though. Maybe I will work on getting better at it. If you are interested to have a look, feel free to check out my Instagram. On the way to the restaurant, I passed by what I think is the best camera and lens shop in Seoul. Picked up multiple lenses there over the years. Drop a comment if you want the name. And there it was, my favorite kimchi jjigae in Seoul, right next to Namdaemun gate. Unfortunately, it was packed. They turned me away at the door. No worries though, always have a plan B. And honestly, not a bad one. Right in the middle of Namdaemun market, between the cheap clothes and accessories. This place is always busy with a long takeaway queue out front. But what most people don't know is that there is a restaurant upstairs, right above the dumpling factory. Meat dumplings for 5,500, kalguksu for 7,000. Hard to beat. The dining room is pretty small, so you might have to wait a few minutes for a spot. If you don't mind sitting on the floor, try your luck on the upper level. Eating solo meant sharing a table. Ended up sitting next to an older Korean man. Super friendly, we spent the whole meal talking. He told me he was a broker in gwanghwamun. I told him about the cafe. He actually came by the following weekend. Oh, and he insisted on taking a selfie. The set comes with 2 regular dumplings and 2 kimchi ones. Honestly, more than enough to fill you up. Great lunch with my new friend. We said our goodbyes and I headed back to the Apple store to pick up my phone. Namdaemun Market is one of the oldest and largest traditional markets in Seoul. Been around for over 600 years. You can find pretty much anything here. Clothes, accessories, street food, kitchenware, fresh produce. It's loud, busy, and a little overwhelming at first, but that's exactly the charm. A very different side of Seoul. It's also a great starting point for street photography. There's always something happening. After a full day of walking without my phone, I headed back to pick it up. Honestly, felt good to be disconnected for a few hours. After a good 10-kilometer walk, I took the bus home, picked up Mina from kindergarten and headed out for dinner with the whole family. We are now in Seongsu, visiting a Korean restaurant that does some really solid traditional dishes, including a hot stone pot rice. The menu was pretty focused. We went for the half crab, half bossam set. Bossam is a Korean dish of slow-boiled pork, sliced and wrapped in salted cabbage leaves, usually served with kimchi, fermented shrimp paste and pickled radish on the side. Yunmi loves crab, so this was an easy choice, and the banchan spread was incredible. The kind of place where the side dishes alone make it worth it. I'd actually been before and had the mushroom bulgogi set. That's probably what I'd recommend to most people. The hot stone pot rice arrived and we made nurungji with it. That's the crispy rice crust that forms at the bottom of the stone pot. You pour hot water over it, let it soak, and drink it like a tea at the end of the meal. A classic way to finish a Korean meal. It was a long day. I couldn't resist passing out in the corner like a proper ajosi. A few days later, lunch date with Yunmi, and it happened to be Korea's first game of the World Cup. Passing through gwanghwamun Square, I spotted the big screens showing the live game, a proper fan zone set up right in front. But we weren't there for the football. We came for a vegetarian restaurant run by a Japanese chef just next to the Blue House, the Korean presidential residence. The place is called Qyun. It also works as a grocery store. Lots of fermented foods, drinks, pickles, that kind of thing. The drink menu is interesting as well. Filter coffee, a barley grain coffee, teas, oat milks. Very much in line with the fermented, natural ingredient philosophy of the place. The food menu is limited, but that makes sense given the amount of fresh ingredients and prep that goes into each plate. We went for a filter coffee, a curry, and an onigiri. I actually had to ask if the coffee was infused. The vanilla note was so strong. Turns out it was a Fritz roast, a Costa Rican natural reposado. A pretty funky process to say the least. Our plates came out quickly despite the restaurant being full. Lucky we arrived early, there was already a queue outside. Honestly, might have been the best curry I've ever had. The level of detail in the plate was insane. And all for 18,000 won. The onigiri plate was great too. If you go, I'd recommend ordering both, though keep in mind the menu changes with the seasons. The interior is really well done. Warm, lots of small details everywhere, a lot of charm. I kept wondering who designed it. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.